There's this silence. It's loud if you listen close enough, this quiet in rooms full of money, power, and influence. Limited partners, LPs, often stand in the shadows, holding the keys but rarely unlocking their voices. Have you noticed it? The little that's said, the pauses, the hesitations. It's not just shyness or a matter of etiquette. It runs way deeper than that, like a tight knot holding back the weight of something huge. Why do LPs so often choose to stay silent? Because speaking out risks everything. The carefully built relationships, the trust forged over time, the delicate balance between ambition and discretion. Every word carries potential consequences. Saying the wrong thing can topple deals, rattle founders, unsettle general partners. And when you hold the purse strings, your voice can shake markets. So the instinct becomes, stay quiet, stay safe, keep the power behind the curtain. But here's the raw truth. That silence, it's a cage, a trap, a slow suffocation. It's a heavy chain wrapped tight around potential. When LPs hold back, the whole system shrinks. It starves on unvoiced truths and unseen opportunities. LPs know this. Feel it in those lonely moments when the scoreboards flicker, when deals close with empty celebrations, when questions pile up but the room stays quiet. There's frustration baked into this silence. It's a frustration simmering beneath polished presentations and quarterly calls. LPs wonder, why can't there be honesty? Why does everyone pretend everything is fine when it's not? The uncomfortable truths hover about alignment, about values, about what real progress looks like, and no one talks about them out loud. Think about the missed chances, the times when an LP had insight no one else saw, the times when a voice of caution might have saved a venture from sinking or steered capital into something genuinely transformative. But that voice was swallowed. The words never left the lips. And so, cycles repeat. Same mistakes, same silenced warnings. The cost isn't just financial, it's growth stunted, innovation dulled, futures compromised. Imagine what would happen if LPs spoke up differently. Not aggressively, not recklessly, but with the force of truth and the grace of experience. What if transparency became the new quiet power? What if honesty wasn't a risk, but a foundation? How would it change relationships? How would it shift culture? How would it transform the investment landscape itself? Speaking up would spark freedom. It would unshackle entire investment ecosystems. It would invite uncomfortable conversations that lead to better strategies. It would burn away facades so genuine value can rise. LPs have a unique perspective no one else holds. The vantage point above the table, the long-term view that transcends any one deal or trend. Their insight is pure gold, but gold hidden in silence loses its shine. The moments when LPs do break the silence, magic happens. Doors open, debates ignite, new paths emerge. Yet those moments are rare and often fleeting. They are treated like flickers, anomalies to be controlled rather than flames to be nurtured. It's time for that to change. The power lies in transforming silence into deliberate, bold communication that doesn't ask permission. It's about rewriting the unspoken rules, rules that say LPs should be invisible overseers rather than active participants. The true game changers don't just fund ventures, they shape narratives, they challenge norms, they shift the terrain. And that starts with voice. Real, unfiltered, courageous voice. But how to break decades of conditioning? How to unlearn playing it safe? It begins with permission. Giving yourself permission to speak your truth, to challenge what doesn't sit right, to question consensus. It means embracing discomfort not as enemy, but as signpost for growth. It means transforming your role from quiet funder to vocal architect of futures. Words can be weapons, or they can be bridges. For LPs, the choice so often feels like risk, but silence is the real risk. The risk of irrelevance, the risk of watching change happen without you. The risk of losing control precisely by holding back. When you find the courage to speak, you reclaim the power that others want to keep behind closed doors. Here's a secret. The most respected LPs are the ones who talk, not just with partners, but with everyone, from founders scraping for their dream to junior team members grinding behind screens. Their voices carry weight because they come from honesty, from real experience, from a refusal to accept the comfortable story. They ask the questions everyone else won't. They challenge ideas that seem sacred. They push for alignment that goes beyond paper. And the result? Healthier companies, smarter investments, ecosystems that don't just survive, but thrive. That's the real upside. Not just returns, not just prestige, real impact, the kind that lives long past quarterly reports. So what stops many LPs from stepping forward? Fear, no doubt. Fear of backlash, of misinterpretation, of losing deals, but also the invisible force of isolation. When your circle is filled with nods and rehearsed answers, it becomes hard to know if your doubts are valid or just noise. Being the rare voice is lonely, exhausting, often misunderstood. This is why building a tribe matters. Not just any group, but a circle of those who burn with the same fire for transformation. A place where speaking out is met with listening, where questions are celebrated as fuel, where boldness is expected, not feared. This collective strength feeds courage back into every member, creating a feedback loop of liberation. This liberation is what will break the cycle. No more processed investors, no more quiet cages. Instead, dynamic individuals lighting fires of change. Imagine if LPs everywhere seized this power, not as a rebellion against others, but a revolution within, a reawakening not fueled by slogans, but by relentless action. Real freedom isn't given, it's claimed. It's the act of choosing voice over silence, risk over safety, truth over comfort. It means redefining what it means to be an LP, not just a custodian of capital, but a catalyst of change. The system won't make this easy. It thrives on quiet control, on predictable narratives. It rewards conformity. But the edge, the place where real progress lives, is in disruption, in those who refuse to be passengers and demand to be pilots. Those who understand that transformation starts inside before it ripples outside. You might be thinking, this sounds powerful, but what does it look like in practice? It looks like asking the hard questions at meetings, not just nodding along. It looks like demanding transparency when numbers don't match stories. It looks like walking into rooms expecting more than surface-level updates and polite smiles. It looks like creating forums for honest feedback, giving space to founders and partners to challenge and be challenged. It looks like sharing doubts publicly, not hiding in private memos. It looks like collaboration over control, conversation over command. It looks like courage dressed in everyday action. This path won't be easy. It will rattle cages, it will expose weaknesses, but it will also spark breakthroughs. Because here's one thing that can't be denied: the world is hungry. Hungry for authenticity, hungry for depth, hungry for LPs who don't just fund but forge futures, who don't just watch but act. You have the power to move from silence into voice, and in doing so, change everything. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. The fire inside isn't waiting for permission. The moment is now to be more than a silent, limited partner, to be a vocal force shaping what comes next, to break the silence, shatter the limits, and unleash the extraordinary. So step forward. Speak boldly. The world is waiting to hear you.